When the power grid fails during a severe summer heat wave, the immediate instinct for most of us is to retreat. We lock the doors, draw the blinds, and barricade ourselves inside to wait it out. But there is a physical flaw in this plan. A healthy human adult at rest generates about 100 watts of thermal energy. In a heavily fortified, unventilated room, you are essentially a continuous space heater. To understand why that heat becomes deadly, we have to look at a metric called wet bulb temperature. This is an environmental reading that combines ambient heat with relative humidity to measure how well water can actually evaporate into the air. By sealing off your home, you eliminate the airflow required to remove heat and moisture. Without ventilation, your secure safe haven transitions into an inescapable physiological trap. For years, the accepted scientific standard has been that humans can survive a wet bulb temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The theory was that below this threshold, you could eventually sweat enough to keep your core from overheating. To test this exact survivability limit, researchers at the Penn State Heat Project placed young, healthy adults into controlled climate chambers to see exactly when the body loses its ability to regulate its own temperature. This chart shows critical wet bulb temperatures. Instead of the 35-degree threshold, heat stress in humid environments hits healthy adults at just 30.5 degrees Celsius. As air gets hotter and drier, that failure threshold plummets further, dropping into the 25 to 28-degree range. In these conditions, dry heat from the room bakes into your skin faster than evaporative cooling can remove it. When humidity prevents your sweat from evaporating into the saturated air, the body's primary cooling mechanism breaks down entirely. You stop shedding excess thermal energy and begin directly absorbing heat from your surroundings. Once that wet bulb limit is breached, drinking water cannot stop your core temperature from rising. Your internal temperature will continue to climb until you enter fatal heat stroke, even if you are sitting perfectly still in the dark. Beyond the biological heat load, the urban heat island effect creates a massive environmental surcharge. Throughout the day, the dense concrete, asphalt, and steel of a city absorb solar radiation directly from the sun. If you live in a brick or masonry building, your home operates like a massive thermal battery. Instead of immediately blocking the outside temperatures, these heavy building materials spend the entire day soaking up that heat. Architects call this process decrement delay. It measures the specific time lag it takes for external thermal energy to travel through dense building materials and reach the interior space. When intense solar radiation strikes your brick walls at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it doesn't heat your living room right away. The dense wall catches that energy, slowly pushing it inward over 9 to 12 hours. While dense masonry provides security, it also guarantees a thermal breakdown by storing heat that cannot be easily purged during a blackout. Fast forward to 1 in the morning. The outside air has finally dropped to a cool temperature, but this is when decrement delay delivers its payload. That stored midday heat finally reaches the interior, radiating captured solar energy directly into your sealed rooms. Because hot air naturally rises, second-story bedrooms absorb the brunt of this effect. The trapped heat from the lower floors moves upward, compounding with the energy radiating out of the walls. Right when you are trying to sleep, your barricaded location becomes an active, radiating kiln. You are locked inside an oven of your own making. To survive without electricity, you have to abandon those upper floors and stop relying on the thickness of your walls. Your focus must shift entirely to manipulating thermodynamics. The first tactic is nocturnal ventilation. This requires keeping your house completely closed and heavily shaded during the day to block direct sunlight, then aggressively opening every window at night to flush out that stored thermal mass. If you start overheating, dumping water on your head isn't the most efficient physiological hack. Instead, apply cold water or wet bandanas directly to your wrists and ankles. These specific areas have superficial veins running very close to the surface of the skin. Cooling them acts exactly like a physical radiator. It instantly chills the blood, which then circulates through your system to lower your core temperature. Surviving extreme heat means treating both your body and your building as interconnected thermodynamic systems. Both build up thermal energy, and both must be manually flushed to prevent a total breakdown. If you live where the wet bulb limits are consistently breached, fans won't save you. You need to build a geothermal earth tube system, an off-grid air conditioner you can assemble for about $250. Just a few feet below the surface, the earth maintains a naturally stable, cool temperature. By burying high-density polyethylene pipe 5 feet underground, the system pulls blazing outside air through the cool earth, naturally dropping its temperature before blowing it into your shelter. While you stay cool, you must also maintain your internal chemistry. Sweating drains sodium. Drinking only plain water to replace it dilutes your blood, leading to a dangerous condition called water-induced hyponatremia. You must mix in a precise balance of salt and electrolytes to actually retain that moisture. When the grid fails, survival depends on mastering the thermodynamics of the urban kiln.